Hello my little friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamily, and if you're wondering why I was crying, let me come into the matter. But just before we enter this video's topic, just don't forget to put a thumbs up to the video if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Animal Crossing content video. Thank you so much for your support. And if you are wondering why I'm crying, well, if you don't know, well, Elyon, before where I was, it used to be my museum, and I decided that I hated it. Enough is enough. It was one of my very first build on Elyon. I was not comfortable at all with the theme, and I decided I could do better. Plus, I recently acquired Lionel on my island. If you haven't seen that hunt, I can link it for you. But if you don't know Lionel, he's very kingy in his way of dressing, and so he deserves to live in a castle. And the way my island and castle was built before, it was not extendable to add a king to it. So I decided that I was gonna mix the museum and Lionel's home into one big giant castle, so that they can both cohabit and be the king of the island. My island is a Victorian inspired island, so I decided to start with the museum and cover it with some medieval building, castle gate, castle walls, and castle towers. But don't get too much attached to what I just did, because you'll see mid-video I just decided everything was too flat, so I decided to redo the whole behind and to add more details to the exterior, and it was really a challenge. Here is when I added Lionel's home next to the museum. I cut a part of it because it took me 4 or 5 trials to place the home correctly so that I could surround it with all the walls that I wanted for this castle to be. And then I realized I could not even place all the towers where I wanted because I had not enough space on the left part, and this was driving me nuts. And I didn't know also what to do with this small portion of space in the middle, so I kind of made it work. I am not hating too much what I had before, which is what is coming along right now, but you're gonna see in a minute that I will just go crazy and erase everything. Just for information, if you want to do such a build, you have to constantly go back to the front of your build and do some perspective with your camera. Check how it looks like and check how the back look like, and you can see that you don't really see all the stuff I placed in the back of the build. So it was a bit disappointing, and it was not having enough contrast. Like, my build was very flat, and for a museum you kind of want to have a lot of different perspective and different like width, I would say, so it's more realistic. But because just a flat building is just I don't know, it's not enjoyable for the eye. Plus, you can see here in this view that the towers, since they were not symmetrical, I was kind of hating it. So I tried to cut that I go back and forth to check my building a lot of times, so that is maybe sometimes you see some jumps in the video. It's just because I keep on going back and forth, and I would really recommend doing that if you're building a castle yourself, and also to lay out multiple stuff, multiple type of buildings, like the castle walls and the medieval buildings. This is when I redid the back of the building, and I decided to get rid of the tiny space and to make one big tower in the middle, and I think it's way more enjoyable. But of course, the number of space in between were not matching the number of space to place, like, I don't know, some enough medieval building or castle wall. So I decided I was going crazy for real, and I was like, am I gonna place a simple panel? But the simple panel is way shorter than a medieval side building or castle wall, so I knew it was gonna be weird. So in the end, I decided to go with decorative pillars, and I think with this color of castle walls and everything, the pillars colors, they are kind of weird to match. If you go with like some more ivory or pinkish castle colors, then I think you have more colors that match. But I tried my best and I'm not hating it, so I am kind of happy. Not every color is supposed to match. It's like a very old castle. And you don't see sometimes that I'm going back and forth, but there are a lot of items like those medieval side walls. They don't show when you go below and check the view. So in the end, I decided to remove them to spare them because they are still quite costly in bells, and I was running a bit of money to buy all the parts I needed for this. So I decided, since we don't see them, I would replace them at another other moment with something else, and better make use where you can actually see them and where it's interesting. And then for the towers over here, I really wanted to have some towers in the back because it's very important for a castle to have castle tower. I mean, that's why you want castle, you know. But I was also a bit hesitant on how to place them because, yeah, it's a bit hard to match them behind the house. So I was like, there is something missing, and I could not put my fingers on it. So I decided to place castle walls just because they are a bit taller than the medieval side buildings, and they add this, you know, this kind of dent movement. They add something that is quite interesting, so I liked it. And then I'm back behind a museum, and I wanted to do something symmetrical, but the fact is the museum is 7 squares of width, and a villager home is 4 squares width, so of course there was no way in anywhere that this could be symmetrical, and I was starting to be crazy, losing hope, like what can I do? And for such a build, it's also very bothering because you keep on like going down, placing some more terraforming just for you to place objects because it's such a tiny portion. Probably I should have placed it and then not like build it and debuild it every time, but you know, I was kind of in my thing, I was not thinking straight. I was going crazy because this build took me way too much time that I would like to admit it. So yeah, I was not thinking with the best ideas ever. Then I decided to use a castle gate because those are 3 tiles width, and so it was fitting finally. So I decided to kind of you know, trick a bit the view so you wouldn't see that it was a castle gate and then the walls were behind. And then same for there, you don't really see the castle gate and the prison gates went from below, but I was just thinking it was important also because I have plans like for the behind of the castle. I want to turn it into something and not end the castle there. That would be for another video. So I wanted still the back of my building to be a bit coherent. And then I realized that my build was not super symmetrical because I had an issue on the right part, like I was missing something and it was not enough to place something that I would like, so I was really going crazy. But finally I had this build, this huge castle that looked like something, it looked like a castle, it was not too flat, so I was finally vibing with it. And then I realized I didn't know how to decorate the front of it, and back to square one where I was like ripping my hair off and going crazy about how am I supposed to build this castle. This was really a great challenge for me and a great exercise, and I'm really glad on how it turned out. But it's also very hard because, you know, since I had this castle before, I was kind of influenced by the object I already used, and I tried to reuse them. I don't know, I was really stuck on those objects and I could not deviate too much. So I hope I still did a good job. You may wonder why I've been using those office materials and later on books near a castle. Like, what am I doing? Is Shamily completely out of theme? Kind of and kind of not, just because we are near the museum and I still wanted to like have a reminder that this is a museum inside, it's not like a real king castle, and so I wanted to have something a bit like more literate, I don't know how to say that, but like a bit smarter and like make a bit of like a reflection to the to the museum. I don't know. That was some kind of idea, you know. And then I decided to go and order some plant partition. Again, none of the color of this item were matching my castle wall, so I was a bit disappointed, and I got started to lose hope. But then with the bench in front of it, I think it is not too noticeable. And then you don't see it, but I struggled so much to place this bike. I love those diagonal bikes, but they are also a pain to place. And then I went over there to decorate a bit. I wanted to have a small chair and table like I use kind of all the time on this island. I think it's very cute and enjoyable to have a little table to sit and enjoy the view. I wanted to also make more use of those string party lights, but I felt like just in front of the castle gates would have looked a bit weirdish. That's my opinion. So I just decided to place one in front of the stairs, and I wanted to use a second one, but I never found where. So maybe it will come later on in another build. I am still thinking through the whole layout of Elyon. And then again, I was struggling with those little elements, but then I decided to use the bird bath in front of the plant partition, and I think it's very, very cute. Then I realized I had some plants and I didn't know where and how to use them, but I had plants and I wanted to make this really greenish, kind of maybe to remind ourselves of like the ivy that could like grow onto the castle walls. I know normally medieval castle, they are not the same period as the Victorian castle, so I tried to cover it with like ivies and make it a bit like less medieval, but I guess I will just fix it with like a garden. I have some ideas for the futures, I guess. So I am still struggling to place those plants. Don't mind me, I don't know. I think for Elyon I'm still gonna struggle until the end, until the very last build. I will struggle and take way too long to place simple things, and then in a minute you will see I will try to place to make use of the round topiary because they are way more majestic, but next to the clock they are way too tall. So I prefer to use the triangular one and use the round topiary near the fencing to kind of add more elements, I guess. But we're reaching towards the end of this video, so I'm just gonna let you enjoy because I've been talking the whole time. I will see you in another video. If you like what I did here, don't forget to put a thumbs up to this video and don't forget to subscribe to see more Victorian Inspiration Island. Thank you very much for sticking with me and see you soon. Bye bye!